This is the 2020 John Cooper Works Mini Countryman All4. The Countryman being the biggest car that Mini makes, and thanks to some engine tinkering, this is now the most powerful Mini ever made. Which begs the question, is this a crossover or is it a hot hatch? Well, it's kind of in this whole world of its own. It certainly drives like a hot hatch, but then it's surprisingly family friendly. Don't let the name Mini deceive you. Let's go find out about it. There's some stuff that works, there's some stuff that doesn't. To begin with, it's a Mini. So inside, you're going to instantly recognize the Mini features, like the big center circle stack and the quirky Mini design features. Mini people love Minis. Other people, like I'm not really a fan of some of like the big circle and the other quirky design features, but I've been a big fan of driving this car. It's been a wonderful surprise this week. So this now has 301 horsepower for 2020. They've tinkered it up an extra 73 horsepower and 73 pound-feet of torque. So it's now got 331 pound-feet of torque coming from that 2-litre 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. It's the same engine that's out of the BMW X3 M35i. We've reviewed that car. I'll put a card at the top there for you if you want to have a look at it. And of course, there's a lot of other technology that the Mini will share with BMW. You've got a redesigned performance chassis. You've got massive brakes on it. You've got the John Cooper Works tuned exhaust. You've got adaptive damping available for a bargain at just $500 as an option. So all of those things put this in the hot hatch category and make it an absolute blast to drive. And Mini has announced a refresh for the Countryman, available soon as a 2021 model. You've got redesigned headlights, a redesigned front, redesigned LED tail lights as well, and the back end. Those tail lights now have the Union Jack detailing in them, which a lot of people asked for. I think it was the only model that didn't have that. You've also got a few things on the inside, like this instrument cluster here, which is a bit more analog and old school. That is now digital, but pretty much what you see is what you get for the rest of it for 2021, which means it is still a car that has excellent stuff on this range and then stuff that really lets it down over here. In terms of this car in Canada, this is a $53,000 car with the options on it, and you've still got harder plastics everywhere. You don't have a heated steering wheel. The seats, while they're amazing, like these are beautiful seats and they've been wonderful. These sort of Alcantara finish on it, really tight hugging, taking corners is wonderful, but they are completely manually adjustable. You've got the old school screen head-up display, and in terms of driver assistance technology, you've got the dynamic or adaptive cruise, but you don't have lane keeping assist or lane departure warning or blind spot warning or any of those things. You've got collision avoidance with the emergency braking and pedestrian detection, but you don't have a few of those other things that you would expect for this particular price point and other brands do have. But the Countryman is the biggest car that Mini makes, which means the word Mini a little bit deceiving. So let's check out one row back and see how it functions for families. Now, a couple of years ago, I had some friends who were expecting their second child and they went and bought a Mini Countryman, and I thought it was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever heard. But I'd like to formally apologize because it's way better back here than you think. It's 38 inches of headroom. You've got 37.6 inches of rear legroom. This seat is set to where I drive it at, and I'm fine back here. They're carved out quite significantly in the back of the seats, which helps out. The door bins are enormous, lots and lots of storage there. And these seats actually, they slide back and forth and they recline, but you got to use the little pull tabs like this. You don't have an actual solid plastic handle. You have to pull these little tabs, which is a little bit annoying. So look at that. I mean, that's for a Mini. So our standardized test of the rear-facing kid seat, the front passenger doesn't have loads of room. Your legs are not on the glove box, but you got a little bit of space. It's not disastrous. The door arches, while they're nice and high and wide, the doors themselves are just not very big. So you're not impeded too much by this wheel arch. The kids can still get pretty decent access to the footwell here, stand in there, get themselves on their seat and everything. It's just, they've done a pretty decent job to work around the fact that the doors are not very big. The opening is reasonably small, but they've done a good job everywhere else. You've got a climate outlet for you here as well. You've even got 2 USB charging outlets. You've got center console, which is actually, you have to option that in. The base model doesn't have the center armrest, but it's surprisingly comfortable back here. It's not too bad also one row back. 498 litres of cargo space back here, or just over 17 cubic feet. And it's reasonably configurable too. So as it is right now, this passes our standardized test of the stroller, 2 bags of groceries, camera gear and a soccer ball, but it's tight. You got to take out this tray and then you've still got things blocking your sight line for the driver out the mirror. However, you do have this, which gives you a lot more. So the standardized test now works a lot better. You can keep this tray on, and it's on hinges too, so you don't have to take that out. You can just pop it up and it will sit flush with the back seat. You've also got the movement activated power tailgate, really useful feature. But let's get to the fun end. Where, ladies and gentlemen, would you believe it, we have launch control. Woo! Not your average Mini. Not your average Mini. That's lots of fun. Sounds great too. They're definitely pumping some sound into here. And one thing you instantly find with this car is the driving position. The driving position is terrific. I love it with these comfortable sports seats. My wife drove this car yesterday. I thought she was going to absolutely hate it. But the thing she liked, it handled well, it had lots of pep, the outward visibility is pretty decent as well. Now, engine-wise, you do have a bunch of turbo lag in this car, and when that turbo does kick in, it sort of hits you with a punch. It doesn't ease on. When you're just in the driving mode of just mid or normal or comfort, it takes... It's not the quickest to shift back, but then when it does, woo, it takes off like a rocket. Love that. So 3 driving modes. At the bottom you start with green or eco. That's going to get you the best fuel economy, which is about 26 miles per gallon combined, or 9 litres per 100 kilometres combined. I've done mostly city driving, a little bit of highway. I've got 11.8, but I've been driving it pretty hard because you get these cars for a week, so you might as well. But green, when you are in that eco, it kind of like, when you finally try to get it to react, it will sort of do nothing, and then the turbo kicks in and it sort of yanks you forward. In the middle, you've got mid, that's obviously your comfort mode in the middle, and then sport. Sport does dial everything back, tighten everything up. It's not the softest, smoothest ride, even when you're in comfort or green, because you've got these 19-inch rims, you've got this performance suspension and brakes, and this performance chassis on it, so it is designed for more of a driving experience. So if you don't want that and you want the kids to be in more relative comfort, then you might want to go for the non-John Cooper Works, at which point you are giving up everything else that is good about it. You do have sport shift and you got paddles as well, and when you're using the sport mode, woo, so much fun. A great city car. It's an all-wheel drive. In the States you can actually get the Countryman in just the front-wheel drive. In Canada it's all-4 all the way, so it's a front-biased all-wheel drive system. So to help with fuel economy, it's going to put power to the front wheels as much as possible, and they call it a slip and grip. So when it does feel a bit of a slip in traction, it'll send a bit more power to the back wheels to get you back on track. But it certainly does feel at times, you can certainly notice that it is primarily a front-wheel drive. Okay, so rest of the interior at the front here. Great storage in the door bins here, which is great. I can man spread really well. It passes the man spread test, no problems at all. You've got a wireless charging pad here for your phone, and it also has that wireless Apple CarPlay integration. No Android Auto, which goes in line with BMW as well. And on that infotainment system, it looks largely like the BMW iDrive system. And one of the downfalls of them maintaining the design features of the Mini is that they put the infotainment system and kind of squashed it. You've still got the 8-inch infotainment system in the circle, and it's responsive. It's got lots of different features. It actually works really, really nice, but it's just squashed a little bit more. More BMW technology on the infotainment system is the reverse camera, so it's nice resolution. The sensors are clearly from the BMW system as well. You don't have the 360-degree camera, which, I mean, you don't really need. It's a really small car, but it's just kind of squashed. Then you've got the parking assistant, which is not on this one. Again, for $53,000, you might expect that. And then if you do happen to option it in, which you can, again, it's older technology where you have to use, get this, you have to use the brake and the accelerator. Oh my God, who wants to do that anymore? Another thing you'll notice straight away is the ambient lighting. The ambient lighting is everywhere, even in the front dash here, these detailing in the vertical sort of wavy marks, it's built into that. So what about price? Well, the Countryman All4 starts at $31,000 in Canada, $28,900 in the US. Of course, the US can also just get the front wheel drive. But the John Cooper Works, this one, the performance model, the one you want, is $46,000 in Canada, and in the US it starts at $41,900. This one in Canada, it's got a bunch of options on it, and this is $53,530. So that's the 2020 John Cooper Works Mini Countryman All4. Hopefully you found this review useful. If you have, give it a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel because we put out brand new reviews every single week. Until next time, from Family Wheels, I'm Kai.